This morning's guest has a few rules, and they rock. Who is she? You'll meet her coming up next on All American People. Good morning. Welcome to All American People. This morning we're at Cagney's Old Place near Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, the vacation destination of the year as voted on by visitors to allamericancities.com. We're focused on the book, Mama Rock's Rules, and we're visiting with the author, Rose Rock. Good morning, Rose.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for coming in this morning and the opportunity to celebrate the book.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
It is an incredible coup. And what about this Cagney's Old Place?
I love it. I love it. I love the ceilings.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm sorry viewers can't see the ceilings with the gas light. Just the whole place. Had you been here before?
I have been here before.
Yes. Dino Thompson. Of course, we're going to highlight a little bit about Dino. Kicked off the week with us, highlighting the Beach Music Hall of Fame induction ceremony coming up on May 15th, and I believe you were one of the members of the committee.
Right. I'm a part of that. Looking forward to it.
A very exciting event to think about May 15th, and the fact that the committee all had to pick, I think Dino said 20 songs and whittled them down till you got to the final 10, all of them before 1955.
It was really hard because it was so much to choose from.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, very exciting. That'll be a big ceremony there on Sunday, May 15th. So I hope a lot of folks will get out there.
Oh, I'm hoping.
Yes.
I'm hoping. I'm looking for it to be a turnout crowd.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We expect it will be, with Hilda and so many others promoting, and I'm sure it will. The book, Mama Rock's Rules, and of course the excitement there on the cover, 10 lessons for raising a house full of successful children. And those are all, each word individually, they are all important. Successful children, a house full of them, and obviously 10 rules there, and it really is just that.
Yeah, and that's what you need. Everything in life is about rules, and you have to learn them at home, or you need to learn them at home, I should say that, because you have rules at school, rules on your job, just rules of how you treat people and how you go about your day-to-day living.
Right.
Yeah.
Golly.
Yeah.
What was that like? Now, was this the first book you'd written?
Very first book. Never ever thought of writing a book, but thanks to Johanna D. Wilson from the Sun News, doing a story and asking me, well, just how did you keep that many children together? And I said, a lot of rules. And she said, well, give me 10 rules.
No, you are kidding.
Yep.
Johanna did that from Holly Hill, South Carolina. She did that.
Yeah, well then, you know, of course, once it hit the UPI, people wanted to know more about the rules. And, you know, everything else kind of fell into place.
That is incredible. And the opportunity to team up with Valerie Graham and working with Valerie was probably a treat.
Well, you know, Val and I were friends, I think, from the minute I came to South Carolina. We were both on the board for South Carolina Hall of Fame, and that's how we met, and we became very, very close. So when I started the book, she and I were always, you know, talking, and I realized that she was just the person to take my words and, you know, put it together.
Really flesh it out. Yes, yes. Well, of course, to think about going through the steps of creating 10 rules and really holding firm to them. There were probably a few more than 10 rules that you could have put down.
It was a lot more, but it was really wonderful to see Valerie come, because I write on everything. I write on napkins, I write on anything when I would get, you know, get a thought. And so she would come over and pick up all of that junk, and she would make sense out of it.
Yes, golly. Well, of course, folks are going to need to go. They can either go into a Barnes & Noble, into a Books A Million in this area. They can go online to Amazon.com. There's a plethora of places. I guess virtually any place they walk into, they can track down a copy of the book. The book's been out for a little while. You did a national book tour.
Yeah, it's been out about 2 years.
Okay,
but
great.
The thing that happened is the book keep evolving.
Yes.
We started out just as a parenting book. But for the past year, because I speak for HarperCollins, I do what's called parenting seminars all over the country. Well, this past year, we've had school boards or school districts buying the book like 200 books or
Oh,
300
come
books,
on.
and giving it to parents.
Wow.
So I never ever knew that, you know, it would be, I just didn't expect it to be like this.
Right.
I knew that we needed to come to grips with our children. I knew that parents needed to take a hard line and bring their kids back into some kind of semblance of order.
Right.
And I also believe wholeheartedly that teaching begins at home.
Yes.
And so, you know, I think that's what the book represents, that we as parents have to be parents.
Rose, we were with a minister not long ago and had to ask him your favorite book in the Bible. Is there a favorite verse? And folks can actually take the time to step back and say, yes, there is something favorite. And he announced one, and I thought to myself, how could there be such a favorite in a book like that? For the same thing for you, for these 10 rules. Is there one that stands out above the rest, or do they all equal? Can you not pull one out, or is there one that really speaks?
I always pull the first one out. I'm your mama, not your friend. Because first and foremost, I'm the parent. I cannot be your friend and then expect you to have that same reverence and respect for me. And I can't be your friend and be the disciplinarian that I need to be.
Right.
So I'm not friends with children.
Good for you, Rose. That's probably a tough position to
It's
have.
a tough one, but it's a good one.
Right.
It's really a good one. And you know, I watch with my children, like I've done things that they thought were very harsh, but now as they grow older, one by one they come back and say, Mommy, remember when you did this? I thank you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That is beautiful. Well, it ties into, I do want to read a little bit of the foreword. It wraps in, you said disciplinarian, and so it's the last couple of words of these last two sentences. One of your 6 sons, Chris, wraps up the foreword by saying, quote, as of the writing of the foreword, none of Rose's children has a criminal record or has had any baby mamas. How did Rose and my father pull off this miracle? With a little love, a lot of understanding, and a good belt. A good belt. And those are big things. Did the Rose Rock family, did the Rock family believe in the rod of correction?
Oh yeah, there was a belt at the back door. And once upon a time, when there was a belt at the back door of every house in America, we did not have juvenile delinquents. We did not have facilities in every state for young people. If your child did something in South Carolina, they were sent to the Midwest because that was the only place you could find a juvenile facility. Now, every state in the United States of America has an overcrowded juvenile facility. We have kids standing on the corner with their pants around their ankles. We have children that walk into a classroom and think nothing of verbally abusing a teacher. We didn't have that.
And this is because discipline is
It's
just left
gone.
the household.
It's just left.
Oh.
It has just left. You have young children telling a parent, if you hit me, I'll call 911. I mean, who decided that we should let the government tell us how to raise our children and how not to discipline our children? And we can see the results of it.
Right.
It's so plain.
How can we get back to that? Or is
We
there
have to go back to the way we were raised. We have to get our village back. There was a time when you walked down the street, you weren't dressed properly, any neighbor could send you home. Your dress is too short, you shouldn't be wearing that, and you said nothing. You turned around and you went home. Or if you were caught doing something, the neighbor could reprimand you and call your parents, and you were in big trouble.
And this
That's
is
gone.
This is really just not around. Now, was
Not
this just
around.
at Decatur and Saratoga?
No, I don't think so. I think it was just that we made a decision, my husband and I, of how we were going to raise our children. But I think there were other families that did that too. But nowadays, that's so few and far between.
Yeah.
People have gotten busy. I mean, we think I'll buy you a pair of sneakers, but I won't spend 10 minutes talking to you.
Right, right.
Yeah, so it's a whole different thing.
Well, I saw that on the, and it was, when I say Decatur and Saratoga, the neighborhood that you raised.
Oh, that's my neighborhood.
Many of your
619.
children, 619. The excitement there, I say that. I went to Amazon.com last night, and of course it has a great little write-up, a lot of publisher reviews, of Mama Rock's rules, and it has a little 2.5-minute blurb there, which I would recommend anyone taking the time, if they've got internet access, if they don't go to a library. It's not things that we can pull all out even right now, even though it's just 2.5 minutes, but it really tied in some of the great points from the book, other reasons why they need to pick up the book. And of course, I know a lot of viewers want to know, is there a number 2 on the way? Number 3, other books following behind. But if they take the time to go online and just click that on to learn a little bit about it, it talks about the Rock justice system. There's some exciting things in there about parenting. You parent adults the same way you parent little ones, which is really important to think about.
Yes, you do. You deserve the same respect from a 40-year-old that you deserve from a 4-year-old. So I always tell people, when Chris walks in my house, he's just another child.
Right.
So he's under my rules.
Right.
When I used to visit home, I was my dad's daughter again.
Right.
Yeah.
You were under his rules.
His rules.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Did you ever have any feedback for some of those rules?
Oh, I have. I tried them. Okay, I came home once and I got dressed. I was going to go out. I put my kids to bed and I was just putting on my makeup and whatnot. And my dad came by and he says, "Well, where are you going?" And I said, "Oh, my friends and I are going out." And he says, "I don't think so." He said, "You just put your kids to bed. I don't think your husband sent you down here to be in the street." And I did not say a word. I just politely washed my face and went and sat down.
No, Rose.
Yep.
And you wanted to say a word.
I wanted to, but I wouldn't dare, because that's my dad.
Wow. Is your father still around?
Oh,
though?
no.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. So you came down to South Carolina a number of years ago. Share with viewers how you got down here. Had you grown up here?
I grew up
right.
in Andrews,
okay,
but I left because you have to understand the South was different when I grew up. So the minute you graduated, you left. And I met my husband in New York.
Okay.
And so after raising our family and whatnot, my husband died and I came back.
And that's what brought you back.
That's what brought me back.
Well, that and so part of your active raising of children, and of course the book talks about 17 kids. I know Dino earlier this week said, I know she raised 10 kids. Could it be more than that? I mean, how could you actually go about doing raising all these children?
You know, sometimes you look at your life and you realize how blessed you are. And we would watch TV, especially when the crack epidemic hit New York, and you would see babies in the trash or babies burnt because the mother did things to it. And you would say, you know, they could have brought this baby to me. But it's okay to sit in front of your TV and say that. At some point, you have to say, well, you know what? I'm going to do something about it. And so we opened our home to children. So through the years, we counted 17, but after the book came out, it was actually like 22.
Wow. And
right now, I have a foster daughter that's at Bennett College in Greensboro, North Carolina.
Right.
And I met her aging out of the system. I was in Occidental, California doing a camp. And the lady that brought me up there, I don't know, I guess I had it all over my face. She just said, "Rose, I think you need to meet this young lady because, you know, she's going to age out of the system, and when she ages out, where will she go for Christmas or whatever if she hasn't, you know, doesn't have a home?"
Right.
So
you all have made a great team. That's tremendous.
Made a team, yeah.
That's tremendous, Rose. Golly.